Hey everyone, welcome to another Good e-Reader review video. My name is Michael.
Peter over here.
Today we have the Sony digital paper. Now this is a giant 13.3 inch reader and it's designed to be a substitute for paper. It'll read A5 documents and you can think of it as your secondary screen through life and for business. Let's talk about the weight because this is one of the things that really blew me away. It weighs 0.81 pounds. Now, to give you a little bit of perspective, the Kindle DX weighs 1.3 pounds, whereas an iPad weighs 0.9 pounds. So you actually have this being 13.3 inches and being lighter than almost any other tablet or e-reader on the market. Now this is using e-ink Mobius, and Peter, you know with Mobius that Sony and e-ink actually developed this to be high resolution and lightweight.
Exactly.
So the resolution is 1600 by 1200, so you're going to get amazing picture quality in both PDF documents and other content. Exactly, let's look at it 360.
So you have the gigantic screen here, which is actually flexible too. So not only have they incorporated Mobius, they have added some sort of flexible characteristics to it, but don't go and flex the heck out of it because you'll obviously damage the screen if you overflex it. So looking at the front, you have the home button, back button, the more button. This will show you additional options in different applications. We also have a chisel cut out of the side for the power and indicator light. We have a loop on the side for your pen. Fits inside. We also have matte black bezel. And on the back, leaves quite a bit of fingerprints, but it is a very nice feel to it. And we also have a micro SD card slot underneath. And we found it kind of funny that the reader was almost $1,200 and they didn't give us a 2 gig card.
Yeah.
What's up, Sony? And we have the micro USB on the bottom with a reset button in case you know what hits the fan and none of the buttons function. You can always hit that reset button and it'll give your e-reader a kick.
This is a PDF reader,
right.
So it comes down to it that this is the only format it'll read. It won't read your Kindle books or your EPUB books.
FB2, nothing.
Right, but you can convert those books to a PDF format, and you can visit other sites like Project Gutenberg as well to read HTML books in your browser, but also select books are available in PDF. Let's take a look at the main screen here. So these are your last read documents. These are your recently added, and these are workspaces. Workspaces are basically your guide to being able to edit and do a lot of kind of cool customization things on the fly. You can look at your documents here.
This is anything you've loaded into the root of your device. For example, we have everything from comics to notes, PDFs, things we've written ourselves, things we've downloaded.
Now, you'll also see a network button here. Now, what the Sony digital paper does is it can actually connect up to corporate networks or VPNs, so you could have collaborative sharing as PDF documents. Well, I like to think of this as a device that's really aimed at law firms because Sony harsh markets it to law firms. And if you think about a class action lawsuit, Pete, there's like 30 to 40 lawyers working on it. Everyone's making notes and changing things, and you want to be able to actually send all these documents to a private server.
Exactly. We'll show you how to set this up on a later video as well.
So these are your notes, dedicated workspaces, you have an internet browser, and we actually have a book here downloaded from Project Gutenberg.
So this is a good example. If you're on your browser, you can read books that are feeding off of the internet while you are connected.
And then you just have your settings menu. We won't go into detail here, but you can configure your Wi-Fi internet access and everything else.
We will show you a separate video of each one of these settings because we know this isn't a very attainable device for most people. So if you are thinking of getting this, we will show you in depth every one of these settings.
Okay, so Peter, let's take a look at the workspace because this is generally how people are going to be editing multiple documents, making notes at the same time.
So if we go to Workspace here, and we click on a test that Michael created, yes, we will open our workspace. So what we have is multiple tabs up top. And this is everything we've opened and then saved into a workspace. So we have our PDF that we're doodling on. We have the basic operations guide open at the same time. And you'll just think of tabs like tabs on your browser. And we also have a note. And this is just a note I wrote for fun just to test out its capabilities. So a workspace is an area where you can have, say, this is your 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, like lined paper. And then you say, oh, I need to go back to my textbook. What is that thing I have to write? Oh, right, this guy is this character. You go back to your note and you write it down.
Okay, let's look at notes because I find that this is very compelling. You actually hand wrote this with the built-in stylus.
Now with your finger, you actually can't write on the page. There's no way you can do it. With this pen, it isn't powered. There's no watch batteries or anything like that. This allows you to write on the paper. And you have different things you can do, like pressing the pen button at the top. You have different thicknesses, different intensities. You have tacks, sticky notes, eraser. So you can click the eraser and it'll erase what you've written. And then you can move the bar to the top or the bottom to kind of get it out of your way. You can even make sticky notes and stuff like that. Now, you can't click on the sticky notes with the pen. You actually have to do that with your finger to open them up. And once you do, there's a note I've typed with the keyboard at the bottom. And we'll take this opportunity to look at the keyboard. I like it because it's staggered in the way that an actual keyboard is. It's not just lined up in a grid. This is how, you know, a QWERTY keyboard would look with the A and Z kind of offset. We have different characters.
They have the
Euro
symbol.
yeah. And we also have these little arrows in the bottom corner for extra characters. So you get a lot of different stuff. Stars and pluses and
That's
equals
cool.
and does not equals. We're not going to go through every one, but it's kind of cool how they have that option.
Yeah. Okay, so let's take a look at like what you basically did here, because you drew and then you had like a circle with the note thing there.
Right. So I circled the note as an example, like so. But if you click on that, you get whatever you want to draw here, and you can alter it at any point. So how I did that was, yes, let's save it. How I did that was, we're going to select...
Now you basically saved that as an independent document right there.
Right. So what I'm going to do is click on a speech bubble, and I can choose where to put it. So I put it right there, and then I can write whatever I want from there, say yo, and now I can tell people, oh, there's a speech bubble right here that says yo. So, I mean, it's like you're drawing on a piece of paper, for crying out loud. This is great.
Yeah, I mean, and as you could see, this looks organic in the way that you kind of circled something and have speech bubbles there. So you can think of it as you could write stuff on the fly, but you could also add these to any PDF document that you're reading. Now let's take a look at PDFs, because this is a PDF reader. So as you see here, we have the quintessential Monsters Manual, which we've shown in all of our videos.
Oh, yes.
And I don't think it's looked better on an e-reader that we've seen now. Most e-readers are 6 inches, and you only see like a certain block of text. And if you want to see more of the document, it's like you gotta go around. And then, or you could pinch and zoom and get, you know, a big overview, but it's unreadable. But this is totally readable. This is exactly how this was intended to be read.
Now we must note something. If you drag and drop this file onto your Sony, you go to the pen, you draw on it. If you exit this application by pressing home, it is now saved that on the original document. So the original document has been edited, and once you export it onto your desktop again, it will show your doodles. So it doesn't create a duplicate editable copy and save the original. It actually edits the original one. So if you have a textbook that your professor gave you and you're drawing on it, you will have this doodle stuck on that file.
Right, which is like almost like perfect for students
Right.
because you could edit things and you can actually save this edited document and then you could read it on your PC, on your Chromebook,
Right.
or you could even export it and read it on your iPad if you wanted to.
Exactly. And if you press this button like so, while you're drawing on something, it initiates a highlight. So you can highlight bodies of text anywhere on any PDF anytime you want.
Now, can you add like a speech bubble to the highlight?
If you press and hold the button and tap the highlight, you get different options. Remove highlight, search, Google. So say you hold this button, click on ice, it'll just highlight ice. You can search the Google website for ice. And at any point in time, yes, Michael, you can grab a speech bubble and say on Archon here, you just tap it, adds a speech bubble, and then you write Archon or whatever you want.
You can draw in there as well as type in the
on
keywords,
the speech,
is that right?
On the speech bubble, you can only type.
Okay.
And then on the sticky note, the tack here, if you click it on there, this is the one where you can add little doodles, and then you can save that. So they give you options for both. This one has the little lines of text, and this one gives you a page. So, yeah.
So this is pretty well just a quick overview on how PDFs are. You can edit them simultaneously. You have a great workspace. It's flexible and easy to be able to control that. But it comes down to it's just a PDF reader.
Right.
It's not an ebook reader. But that's not really going to stop you from being able to actually read books. So we have we loaded a few on here.
So we'll go ahead and open up the privateersman. And what this was an ebook converted into a PDF because this is the format that this can read. And once again, you can press and hold that to highlight, or you can just draw on it because it is a PDF. And a PDF is essentially a photograph format.
Right.
Yeah.
On all PDFs, you can hit the settings menu and get a myriad of options here. You can actually switch the orientation from portrait mode to landscape mode. You can save your workspaces, check out your tab list, close tabs, duplicate. You can look at all the annotations that you made throughout the entire document in one feature here. But you see that send and reply are grayed out because we haven't actually set up like a corporate network.
Exactly, and we're going to definitely show you guys that because that's really what this is geared towards, professional environments and entertainment industries and so forth.
Right. From a consumer endpoint, though, you can casually read on here as well.
Sure.
So here's a digital comic.
And once again, this is a PDF, so it's just loading right now, so we'll let it kind of do its thing. This is a PDF, so you get all the functionality that you do on any of the other PDFs because you have this pen. So you can pinch and zoom. It's very fluid for such a large e-reader.
And pinching and zooming just doesn't work in PDF documents, but it also works on websites as well.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so we've showed you pretty well most things that this e-reader does. Peter, what are your thoughts?
I think from a business standpoint, it's right where it needs to be. It has the whole internet syncing with all of everyone on the same server, so you can synchronize, important documents, textbooks, wherever your industry is. It's gigantic. It's got the most screen real estate, hands down, of any e-reader. Obviously, it's the only one that has 13-inch. It has notes. This pen is beautiful. It works just like a regular pen. You can even rest your hand on the page and draw on it because your hand doesn't interact with it when you're writing. So that makes everything even better that way. It's super light. The only thing, even in a professional environment, is that it's very expensive.
Yeah.
Even in a professional environment.
This costs $1,100.
Retail, yes.
And Sony is actually selling them directly now.
Yes.
But it's an arduous process to order one.
Right.
It's basically, you can think of it as an interview.
Right.
They want to make sure that if you're a consumer, that you have advanced technical knowledge. And if you are a corporation, they want to know what you're going to be using it for.
Yes, exactly.
So they really vet out, and this is mainly because they don't have a support number or a customer service number to answer questions or concerns, like why is it this not reading my Kindle books?
Exactly.
They don't have any infrastructure in place to do that. But let's talk about the reader, because this is what it's all about. I'm super impressed by this, mainly because for the first time ever, we have a dedicated reader that's geared towards reading PDFs. This is something that we really haven't seen before and executed in this fashion. Sony's been using stylus with a touchscreen for years in the consumer e-reader space.
Never like this.
I know, and this is the most responsive a screen has ever been. It's also using flexible, lightweight e-paper technology that we have never seen before in a consumer product. When we first saw this at SID Display Week in 2003, I was blown away about how lightweight this is, but just how intuitive it is to use it. This is basically your substitute for paper.
Right.
I would recommend to get this. I'm really behind this device. It could do anything that you need it to do in a professional atmosphere, but also if you're heavily invested in PDFs, or you know enough to use Calibre to convert EPUB books to a PDF and format it correctly. The possibilities behind this are endless. Stay tuned to our YouTube channel for more reviews, previews, and expanded features, as well as head-to-head comparisons against this versus the iPad, the Kindle DX, and a number of other e-readers on the market for a review of the Sony digital paper, or the
DPT-S1.
Yes. My for GettyReader.com. My name is Michael.
This is Peter.
Everybody take care.
Yeah. All right. And boom. Shoot. Oh my God, I panicked. Look at all. I wasted 7 rounds. What am I jumping over? Oh man. I don't care. What am I doing? Oh, I have 1 bullet. How do I do a headshot? Like, how do I decide to do a headshot? No, don't get all shaky on me now. Where's the dog?